So, Kennedy, have you thought about what I said to you before? I'd really appreciate it if you gave me an answer sooner rather than later.
Do you mean the money? I thought I already made it pretty clear I wouldn't be giving you anything.
I don't remember saying no. You just said you'd think about it and left it at that.
I did, but then I told Graham to tell you we wouldn't be giving you anything after me and him discussed it together. We're already sending you more than enough money to help out with your monthly living expenses as it is. I have no idea why you think you need more. That said, it's not that we don't want to help out, it's just that things might get rough for us financially if we give you any more money than we already are.
Things might get rough financially for you. Oh, how dramatic! You must be joking! I heard about your monthly wage, that is. 5 figures? Is it true?
I take it Graham told you? Is that why you're asking me for more money all of a sudden?
So what if it is? It's not like you can't afford it. I'm an old age pensioner with no income. If you have the leeway to help out, why not use it?
Just because I make decent money doesn't mean I can afford to give it away. Besides, you're fully aware that me and Graham have 2 kids to look after. Why would you make such ridiculous demands of us when you know how much it costs to raise children?
Obviously, I know that. What of it?
What of it? You act like it's irrelevant. Even if things aren't so bad for us now, no one knows what the future might bring. It's no secret the economy's in the gutter, and it'd be irresponsible of us to not have some money put aside in a savings account for the event of an emergency. We seriously don't have as much leeway as you seem to think we do.
You're not the only one bringing in money. My son works too. I simply do not accept that between both of your salaries combined, you can't afford to give your poor mother-in-law a helping hand.
I really don't want to get into this with you, but if you insist on pressing the matter, you should know our outgoings are set to go up an awful lot real soon. Just because I got a pay raise doesn't mean we have money going spare. We have the kids' schooling to think about. One's moving up to high school and the other's going to college soon. Tuition fees aren't cheap. We genuinely can't afford to give you any more money than we already are.
Oh dear, how disappointing. I really thought you were different, Kennedy. But it seems you're just the same as everyone else. This is precisely why it's such a bad idea for women to work. None of this would be happening if you stayed in the kitchen where you belong and let my son manage the finances. Women's liberation was a mistake.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
You suddenly think you're so special. Just because you're bringing in a little money, don't you? Well, you're not, Missy. Don't get too big for your boots. Back in my day, arrogant women like you, who didn't know their place, got promptly put back in it.
I'm really not trying to be arrogant.
I may only be your mother-in-law, but that still makes me your mother. Even if I weren't, I'm still several decades your senior. which makes me your superior. In spite of that, you don't show me the proper respect. And don't you think you're being rude?
What does what you're asking me to do have to do with respect? Even if you are my superior, financial decisions of the kind you're asking me to make aren't something to be taken lightly. My answer would be the same if you were the Queen of England.
There you go again with your far-fetched, nonsensical arguments. You might think you sound clever, but all you're really doing is exposing your own selfishness. If this is your attitude with me, I shudder to imagine how you must treat my poor son. Does he even love you anymore?
I can assure you, you don't need to worry about us. Would you mind just focusing on your own affairs? Things between me and Graham are great.
Are they really? I wonder. I seriously doubt it. By the way, don't think I don't know that you made my son start doing housework lately.
I didn't make him do anything. He volunteered because my work hours went up. I still do what I can when I can. Graham understands my situation and we work together as a team.
It's easy enough to say that, but I wonder, what's the reality on the ground like? The sassy attitude you're giving me right now is simply unacceptable. As a wife, as a daughter-in-law, unacceptable. You clearly don't know your place in this family if you think this is any way to speak to me.
I'm sorry if you feel like I've been rude to you. That was never my intention. I'll be more careful from now on.
More empty promises. This is why it was a mistake for women to leave the kitchen. I'm sick of hearing your empty promises. How about you put your money where your mouth is and quit your job?
I really can't afford to do that.
Well, no one ever asked me about this, and I don't consent. How can my poor son possibly be happy under this arrangement? There's not a man on the planet who could feel like a real man with his wife out earning him. You've neutered the poor boy.
Bertha, please. How many times do I have to tell you? We're both fine with it. Forgive me, but if that's everything, I have things to do. I need to prepare dinner for later and get ready for work.
Ah, Kennedy? Kennedy. Excuse me, Kennedy. Are you there, young lady? Why won't you answer the phone? How dare you ignore a phone call from your mother? I've never encountered such rudeness in my life.
Bertha, please. You have to stop doing this. I'm at work and can't speak on the phone right now. You spam called me yesterday, too. Please stop it. You have no idea how inconvenient it is when you do this in the middle of my work. I'm asking you nicely here.
Oh, I forgot you asked me not to. Anyway, forget that. The real question is, why are you still at work? I made it very clear you were to quit your job, didn't I? I do hope the process is underway, and you didn't disobey me again.
Were you actually being serious? I assumed you were joking.
As if I'd joke about such a thing. I'm as serious as it gets.
I see. Well, even still, that doesn't change my answer. Impossible is impossible, and that won't change.
Impossible this, impossible that. You're such a negative Nancy. It's always doom and gloom with you. Back in my day, when times were tough, we pulled our socks up and we got on with it. You young people today don't know how easy you have it. And you, especially you, all you seem to be capable of doing is complaining. I'm reaching my wit's end with you, young lady. You should know I won't carry on tolerating this forever.
There's nothing for you to tolerate. I never agreed to quit my job in the first place. Even if, for argument's sake, I was considering quitting my job, you wouldn't be part of the discussion because it has nothing to do with you.
Blah, blah, blah. Here we go again with the same old nonsense. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. But if you don't hurry up and change your ways, my son's going to end up hating you.
Don't worry. Graham's a decent man. There's no way he'd be petty enough to hate me over something like this.
How can you be so sure? You have no idea what he really thinks of you. You have no idea what he really feels deep down.
If that were the case, I'm sure he'd speak to me about it. In any case, it has nothing to do with you.
How dare you! Why, you little brat! I oughta... You're the cockiest, most impertinent, most arrogant little upstart I've ever met in my life! You would have gotten the belt back in my day for this! You're lucky the world's gone soft! I've had it with you! Quit your job this instant!
Why would I do that? That would make 0 sense.
Back in my day, a wife's place was in the kitchen and bedroom. She served her husband unquestioningly while keeping her head down and her mouth shut. She did what she was told when she was told it, and she liked it. But you don't know the first thing about being a proper wife. Not only are you so shameless that you actually think it is acceptable to work a job and make money, but you have the nerve to speak down to your mother-in-law like you rule the roost on top of it. I feel nauseous. The world's gone mad. Why are women so obsessed with acting like men all of a sudden? This isn't how a wife should behave. You need to change your ways right now.
Jesus, Bertha, we're not in the Stone Age anymore. The world's a different place now. I don't think I rule the roost, and neither does Graham. And isn't that exactly the point? There are no dictators in our relationship. We're equal partners.
Don't preach to me about how times have changed. Whether it's 567 BC or 2023. A good wife is a good wife. I don't approve of your behavior one bit. It's a wife's duty to serve her husband. You should be making my son feel like a man, not a little boy. How dare you earn more than him?
I can't take this anymore. This is pointless. I'm going back to work.
Oh, no, you don't. I'm not done with you, young lady. You're not the one who decides when this conversation ends.
If you're so upset, you should be talking to my husband, not me. If it turns out he agrees with you, maybe then I'll consider what you're saying. Until that time comes, we're done here.
You mean you're done taking responsibility for your behavior? All you're doing is burying your head in the sand because you can't bear to consider you might actually be wrong. Go on. Escape, you coward.
I'm not escaping from anything. I just see 0 point in talking to you any further. If you want to kick up a fuss, do it on your own somewhere out of sight where you can't bother me.
I suggest you think very carefully about how you proceed from here. Because if you don't change your ways, you'll regret it. I assure you of that. And when you do, don't come crawling back to me, because I won't hear a word of it.
I can assure you I won't regret a thing.
Have you realized what an idiot you've been yet? Well, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't come crawling back to me. It's too late to apologize now. You had your chance.
What do you want this time, Bertha? Nothing's changed, you know. I still don't want to talk to you.
Ugh! You're the least feminine woman I've ever encountered. You may as well have a beard. My poor son. You think you're so clever? Well, mark my words. You're in for a rude wake-up call very, very soon.
Really? Good for you. So was that all you wanted, or are we done here?
Since you're so dead set on disobeying my orders and staying at that damn job of yours, I called your company and told them to fire you instead. Not long now. It's almost over for you.
Now that you mention it, I did just hear something about that. So it was you, was it? Well, prepare yourself, 'cause you're about to get arrested. My condolences.
What are you talking about? All I did was tell them to fire my arrogant daughter-in-law. What's wrong with that? It's certainly not an arrestable offense. That's the most laughable thing I've ever heard.
What's wrong with it? Everything. But you're right. That alone isn't an arrestable offense.
Duh. We know that, Captain Obvious. You still tried to scare me with it, though. The fact you'd think I'd be afraid of something so pathetic is hilarious. I'm cracking up here.
You should really let me finish. I said that alone isn't an arrestable offense.
What's that supposed to mean?
Sure, you wouldn't get arrested for one poxy phone call to my company. But that's not all you did, is it? Something tells me there was more.
Are you going somewhere with this? Stop beating around the bush. If you're gonna say something, hurry up and spit it out.
For example, you wouldn't have happened to, I don't know, gone around bad-mouthing me to anyone else, would you? Friends, acquaintances, neighbors, anyone like that? You know, spewing your usual hatred about me to as many people as humanly possible.
No, I did no such thing. But even if I did, what's the problem? I'd be well within my rights.
You really didn't, huh? You know it's wrong to tell lies, Bertha.
Shut your insolent mouth! I just told you I didn't. You didn't answer my question. What would be the problem if I did! Lord knows you deserve to be bad-mouthed. Ugh! Just hurry up and tell me already!
If you really didn't do it, there's no point in telling you. I mean, why would I if it has nothing to do with you? Wait a sec. If you're so desperate to find out, does that mean you did after all?
How many times do I have to tell you? No, I did no such thing! But, well, you've piqued my curiosity. There's no harm in telling me, is there? Just think of it as idle gossip between your mother and daughter. You seem so desperate to tell me that I'm willing to hear you out. Ugh. Enough already, just tell me.
Well, if you put it that way, and this is only hypothetical, but if, for example, it was found out that someone had been going around spreading malicious rumors about me, they'd be arrested for slander.
Slander? For a harmless little rumor? Hardly a big deal. Why the need to kick up such a fuss?
Harmless? That's debatable. If the person who heard the rumor thought badly of me as a result, it wouldn't be harmless, would it?
Well, that's just how rumors are.
Anyway, and again, this is all hypothetical, of course. But if the person who heard the rumors about me then went on to tell others, my detractors would continue to grow more numerous, and the lie would spread exponentially, would it not? What if it carried on spreading like that? Can you really say that'd be harmless? Because to me, it seems like I'd come out of the whole thing a lot worse off than I was before.
Even still, wouldn't dragging the police into it be a bit extreme?
If the rumor spread, can you say with 100% certainty there wouldn't be any negative consequences regarding my job?
Of course there wouldn't. What a load of partial nonsense! You can be such a drama queen sometimes. My friends and neighbors have nothing to do with you.
Can you say with 100% certainty that the friends of those friends and neighbors have nothing to do with me? What if Graham worked at the same company as one of them? What if one of their daughters was one of my clients? In that case, do you seriously think someone who'd heard such a rumor would have any interest in doing business with me?
Surely that would be just an issue of their own prejudice. If someone decides to treat you that way based on something they heard through idle gossip, then the problem lies with them.
But they wouldn't hold that prejudice if not for the person who spread the rumor in the first place. Which is why that person bears the most responsibility. As a result, that person would be the one who gets arrested. Do you understand now?
There's something I need to go and check. You'll have to excuse me, but I'm going now.
Oh, really? That's a shame. I'm in a great mood today. I was hoping we could chat a little longer. But if you have urgent business to attend to, I guess it can't be helped.
Yes, I'm sorry. I simply have to take care of this. Speak later. Hi there, Kennedy. Is it your day off work today? Do you have some time to...
Sure, it's my day off. I guess. Why? What's wrong?
Well, you know how you were saying about me getting arrested a few days ago? I was just wondering what the status on all that is. I just haven't heard anything. Could it be that they're not going ahead with it?
Oh, that? Yep. The arrest won't be happening now. Sorry if I panicked you.
Really? I won't be getting arrested.
Yeah, I did talk to the police. But they said since the damage done to me was ultimately small and inconsequential, it would be difficult for them to pursue.
Ma! I knew it! I told you! I knew you were exaggerating to try to intimidate me. There's no way I was ever going to get arrested over something so trifling!
Sorry for the inconvenience. I let an insufficient understanding of the law go to my head and talk down to you very self-importantly. I'm really sorry.
So you should be. People like you always think they can get away with talking down to others. This is why women shouldn't be in the workplace. And they certainly shouldn't be making as much money as they do. It goes straight to your heads. I hope you have a long, hard think about your behavior.
You're right, I should. This whole thing has been super embarrassing. I feel so silly. But there is one more thing. Since you're not getting arrested, I decided to take you to court instead. Me and Graham will be paying you a visit real soon.
Huh? You're taking me to court? You are taking me to court?
Yeah. Well, to be precise, me and Graham are taking you to court. You might not be getting arrested, but you absolutely will be paying me compensation. So, make sure you save up diligently for the payout you're gonna owe me after the trial.
No. No, this is not happening. Just hold your horses, young lady. How can you do this? Didn't the police tell you to give up?
They just told me it'd be difficult to pursue criminal charges against you. That doesn't mean I can't file it as a civil matter.
Even still, who takes their own mother-in-law to court? What's wrong with you? We're a family! And my son! What the hell has gotten into that boy? You have lost your minds!
Me and Graham both decided on this together. We concluded that our lives would be better without you and your jealous shenanigans in it. Your appeals to family are meaningless now. We're strangers.
Jealous shenanigans? What am I supposed to be jealous of?
You demanded that I send you more money the moment you heard about my salary. Then, as soon as I told you I had no intention of doing what you were asking, you started barking orders at me to quit my job. If that's not jealousy, what is?
All right, fine. Maybe you do have a point. But still, isn't taking me to court going a step too far? Surely, if you have grievances with me, you should just tell me? What happened to a good old-fashioned argument? Why the hell do we have to do it in front of a judge?
Would you have stopped if I'd have aired my grievances?
Of course I would. I'd never do anything to upset my beloved daughter-in-law on purpose.
Liar. You seem to be conveniently forgetting that in actual fact, I told you to stop countless times, but you weren't having any of it. You left me no choice but to take legal action. Sadly, this is the only language you seem to understand.
I apologize for everything. I'm sorry. Please, can we just stop with all this talk of court?
You really think begging and pleading with me is gonna work after all this time?
Please! What are my friends and neighbors going to think if they hear my own son and daughter-in-law are taking me to court? My reputation in this town will be dragged through the gutter. I'll be finished. How am I supposed to live like that?
I could have very easily met the same fate as a result of your malicious rumors. You didn't care about that when you were spreading them, so why should I care now? You don't have a leg to stand on. What goes around comes around, Bertha.
How could you be so horrible? Do you take pleasure in trying to paint this frail old woman as a villain? Don't you feel sorry for me?
You're only a frail old woman when it suits you. You were happy enough to call me every name under the sun and make slanderous phone calls to my company in an attempt to trick them into firing me when you thought you could get away with it. You didn't seem particularly frail back then. You don't deserve an ounce of respect, and you'll never get it from anyone because you're nothing more than a bitter, manipulative old hag. We won the court case against my mother-in-law without a hitch. The hateful rumors she'd gone around spreading about me were so numerous and appalling that gathering enough evidence to bang her to rights was a walk in the park. Thanks for making it easy, Bertha. Between that and the slanderous phone calls about me she made to my company, which was of course recorded, you could say our victory was a foregone conclusion. The amount of compensation she was ordered to give us wasn't particularly huge, but when word that her own son and daughter-in-law had taken her to court for slander got out, the trial bore fruits aplenty. The effects on her life were disastrous. Those she once called friends now pointed fingers and mocked her behind her back, and with all neighbors at a 20-house radius now being aware of her misdeeds, she became the laughingstock of the whole street. To add insult to injury, Graham declared he was breaking off all ties with her. Having lost everything and facing constant reminders of her shame and disgrace every time she left the house, she decided to move out of state. Thanks to her no longer being here to boss me around with her absurd demands, I was able to return to my normal, relaxed life. And now, me and Graham are happier than ever. Another added bonus of having cut all ties with the wicked mother-in-law is that now I can use the money I used to send her on the kids and to save up for our future together as a family. All's well that ends well.